Holy Spirit, I need you. Come, sweet Spirit, I pray. Come in your strength and your power. Come in your own gentle way. Come as a rest to the weary. Come as a balm for the soul. Come as a dew to my dryness. Fill me with joy evermore. Come, Holy Spirit, I need you. Come, sweet Spirit, I pray. Come in your strength and your power. Come in your own gentle way. Come like a spring in the desert. Come to the withered of soul. Oh, let your sweet healing power touch me and make me whole. Come, Holy Spirit, I need you. Come, sweet Spirit, I pray. Come in your strength and your power. Come in your own gentle way. So many different spiritual teachers have come upon the planet, and they've each presented their perceptions after their illumination of what they thought people needed to know so that they could do the same thing. But you see, it's all expressed through their personal experience. And though we can read the experiences of other luminous saints and masters, and that can serve as inspiration for us, that was their experience. And it's not going to be the way that you're going to experience it. So that we have to be open and always seek inner guidance with the Spirit of God within us over any outer person in the outer world or any other teacher that's gone before us to this time. They serve as guideposts, as wayshowers, to allow us to see common things that people have gone through on the spiritual path of awakening. But the obstacles, the barriers, the tests, the things that we each go through are different for each one of us. And the only true guidance system that we really have is within each one of us. That's our pole star. That's our compass. That's the rock on which you want to build your church, is that Spirit of God within you. And remember that the Master said, I of myself can do nothing. Absolutely nothing. I have no power to heal of myself. None of us do. It's the Spirit of God within me that doeth these great works. And that same Spirit is the Spirit that will raise the dead, heal the sick, forgive the sinners, multiply the loaves and the fishes. It did all those things that you read about. It was the Spirit of God. It wasn't Jesus the person. And he knew that very well. He was very, very humble. So that's the same with all of us. We don't let the ego let it have the belief that it's the healer, because it's not. None of us ever will ever be a healer. None of us ever will do any of those great works. But in our true self, our true identity, the Christ presence, the God within us, that's the part that does these great works. So we have to allow that part of our being out and through. Now that grace of God is always upon us. Always upon us. It's upon us all the time. The notion that we're born in sin, the notion that we're flawed, the notion that we're imperfect, was introduced by human consciousness into this world a long time ago. And there's no truth in it at all spiritually. All those false beliefs that the human mind has perpetuated for thousands of years are just that. They're creations of human consciousness. and they have nothing to do with spiritual truth. In God's creation, in God's kingdom, there is no dichotomy. There is no polarity. There is no other power. There is no other reality. There is no other condition. There is only God and God's creation. So, conditions such as evil, lack of limitation, disease, imperfection only exist in human consciousness. And it's not our place to try to fight these appearances, these hypnotic appearances in the outer world. The Master never did. None of the illumined spiritual masters ever did. When Jesus saw somebody who was ill, all he would say to them is, get up and walk. Open your eyes and see. You know, he said he didn't see any of this other stuff. Because the other stuff, the more you fight against the darkness, the more you bind it to yourself. The more you make it an obstacle to what you're trying to achieve. So we're not really trying to cast out demons. We're not trying to cast out evil. We're not trying to banish illness. We're allowing the light of God to illumine and awaken us to see the way things really are. To see that which you thought was darkness or evil has no existence of itself. It is made, as Joel Goldsmith said, of the substance of nothingness, like a mirage in the desert. And you wouldn't try to get rid of a mirage in the desert because it's made of the substance of nothingness. You would drive right through it. So the more you try to get rid of a mirage, the more you make that illusion appear real in your life. As I said, the outer cannot of itself do any of these works. Now Jesus said when he left that I'm going to send the Holy Spirit for everybody, and that all of you can do greater works than the works that I did. And he wasn't talking about the outer self, the personal self. He was talking about that same Spirit in him, that it was going to be working through everybody. And we're in that time that all the holy books have talked about for thousands of years. And it doesn't matter what tradition you look at, they're all talking about this time that we're moving into. You see the changes in the outer world that are going on that a lot of people are frightened of. The earth changes, the cosmic changes, the vibrational changes, the magnetic shifts, the changes in human consciousness have all been predicted for a long time. And all the old beliefs and institutions, the sense of a few people trying to control the planet, is dying. And it's not a very pleasant process to watch as those changes take place in the outer world. Many people are dying on the planet. But what's really going on is that we're moving into a new age, the golden age, the age of enlightenment, the age of harmony, the age of unity, where the human race as a whole is waking up. We're getting close to that critical mass where everybody's going to come into that awareness of who they are. This isn't the first time. It's happened before a long time ago, but it's not in recorded history. So we have no records of a time when a race has been awakened like this. So it's not in any written history, though it's in our memory. The things that I say today are not new to you because it's in your memory. We all have a memory of what it is to be whole. We all have a memory of what it is to be connected or to be unified with God. And everybody in their heart is what they desire. They desire that union or oneness with God. They desire peace. They desire harmony. They desire unconditional love. But not in the way that the outer thinks. It's a much deeper feeling. The Master said, I give you my peace, but not the peace of the world. Because the peace of the world is very temporary. You might have a quiet time for a while and there's another war. But God's peace is, in that peace, there is no other energy, there is no other vibration. It's a total stillness and harmony of your whole being, which cannot be described, only felt. Things of the spirit cannot be understood by the logical thinking mind. They can only be experienced. So we try to talk to them in words, but it's only having a direct spiritual awakening or personal experience that's going to mean anything to each one of us. And that's what we're really here today, to remember that that's why we're here on the earth, to allow that part, that deeper part that sent us here to the earth. We came here to the earth for a reason. Each and every one of us is a unique individual fingerprint of God, one with God. See, there is only one self manifesting as everything and everyone there is. It's all God. Everything and everyone is part of the body of God, made out of the substance of God. Everything in this universe is made of spiritual substance. There is nothing that's not, even though it might appear that way. And there is only one intelligence in mind, which animates everything, and that's God's mind. We don't have a separate mind. Our mind is one with God's mind. Our body is literally a cell in the body of God, and our consciousness is part of God's consciousness. Manifesting is an individual pattern, just like a snowflake. Every snowflake is a little bit different, but it's all made of snow. And every water molecule is all made of H2O, but it's all water. We're all part of God, manifesting in an individual way. But we limit ourselves by the finite belief that we're just this body and this mind. And that's a very small part of who we are. And so we can't experience that deeper part with the five physical senses, because they trick us into believing that this physical and material world is all there is. So as we go within, as in meditation or prayer, we start having inner experiences within the inner world. And this is a very real, tangible world. In fact, more tangible and more real than the solidity of this outer world. It just can't be touched and felt with the outer senses. But when you experience it, you're going to experience it in a much more real way, in a much deeper way. Any of you that ever felt that touch of spirit in your heart know exactly what I'm talking about. It's a vibration and energy that you can't describe in any other way. It brings you a peace and love and feeling that nothing else will bring. Now, if you've never experienced that, some of you are going to experience that today for the first time here. Because you're going to feel what that feels like. And every one of us experiences it in a different way. Some people will experience it as a tingling or a vibration in their body, a heat or cold, a warmth. You may feel emotions coming up, but you have no idea where they're coming from, like laughing or crying. You may see lights or colors. None of that matters. Whatever your experience is, that's fine. But don't be attached to the outer manifestation of the inner experience. So many people are seeking for visions, and they're seeking for hearing the voice of God, and they're seeking for miracles. And that may occur, but that's not what we're seeking. That's not what we're here to do. We're here to open up to that inner presence and let it express in whatever way it expresses. Even if you don't feel like anything at all took place here today, or when you meditate, trust me, it is taking place. Just because your outer senses haven't picked it up and you don't feel it doesn't mean it's not happening. In fact, for many, right before the deepest illumination takes place, they feel like they're in the greatest darkness of their life. You can't know in the outer where you are in the inner many times. And many times, there are many little illuminations that take place before the full illumination takes place. You become more aware, and then you sort of go back down, and you become a little bit more aware, and you go back down into the valley, and you experience some more darkness. And it seems that way for a while, but the light keeps getting deeper, the darkness in the valleys gets smaller, and eventually it gets to the point where it becomes more and more that state of consciousness that you walk in all the time. And when the full illumination takes place, then you walk in that state of grace like Buddha or Jesus, and you let the outer totally be guided by the inner, by that other 99% of our being. It becomes a channel through which God's grace and God's fullness and God's unconditional love expresses itself in whatever way that it wants to express itself.